I was adopted within my own family when I was 9 months old. I was born in New York City. My mother was 19. She wasn't married, and really was unable to care for me. Tried until I was 9 months old, and then I was adopted by my maternal aunt and uncle in Chicago, and moved to Chicago, the south side of Chicago. I'll never again complain about a bad neighborhood. Moving from the Lower East Side of Manhattan to a still worse neighborhood in the south side of Chicago. So after my 9th month, I kept my mouth shut about the neighborhood. I believed until I was 12 years old that I was not adopted. I had no idea that I was adopted within my own family. So again, I don't attribute very much of my life, my personality to my adoption. I do attribute it an awful lot to my relationship with my father, who was a Russian immigrant, came here, was very, very poor, dearly loved this country as only an immigrant can, loved our government as only an immigrant can. He was a pilot in World War II, bomber pilot. He really had the philosophy of my country right or wrong. He never questioned the government's policies, never questioned authority, and didn't really want me to question authority. I had some teachers when I was very, very young that I thought were telling me things that weren't true. And when I tried to ask questions, they basically wanted me to respond, parrot back what they said. They really weren't interested in a discourse with a child or a debate with a child. They said this was true, and you are smart if you can repeat back to me exactly what I said to you. And I had a real problem with that as well. So I had very strong authoritarian figures, both in school and at home, which served as wonderful examples of how not to be. My mom was supportive, and I had a mixture of teachers. Some of the teachers were wonderful, and some of the teachers were awful. But the awful teachers served a good purpose in terms of being a bad example. All examples are good. Bad examples are useful. Good examples are useful. And it taught me to question experts, to question authorities, figures. Don't assume just because they're an authority, or even just because they're an expert, that they're right. In other words, think things out for yourself. Come to your own judgments. Don't simply conform to conventional ways of thinking, conventional ways of dressing, conventional ways of acting. That a lot of things are based on fashion. Even morality at times is based on fashion. It was once slavery was once not considered not to be immoral. People are shocked that the ancient Greeks had slaves, that we had slavery in this country as recently as 130, 140 years ago. So there are more moral values. You have to really go back to first principles and think things out for yourself, whether they're scientific principles or moral principles or business ideas or product ideas. You have to think things out for yourself.